there is this nice filter option. Let's say this is the name, this is the product. Let's say I want to filter by reason. So I will put the field by which I want to filter this data. I will put in a reason area. See, this is a nice reason will come at the top. Problem with this is if I click a single one, click OK, no issue. I can see that I have this nice pivot table by Northeast region. In Northeast, only these 4 salesperson are working. So only they are shown. I can click this and I can change any other, let's say Southwest, click OK. Till I click a single field, single value, no issue. The problem occurs when I start selecting multiple value. To select multiple value, I will tick mark this. And now when I select multiple value Northeast and Southeast, here it says it is showing for multiple item, but which item it is not showing that, right? I might have selected 2 item, 3 item, 4 item. I don't know, but it is saying this pivot report is for multiple item, but which item it is not showing. So to avoid this kind of thing, don't use this filter option at all. Let me first select all and remove this filter all option. This is not advisable. Our nice filter will still work. That is a slicer. Okay. So click on pivot table, go to analyze tab. You will see the insert slicer. This is the slicer. Let's say I want to filter by reason. Maybe I want to filter by salesperson. Okay. Click OK. So just like a table, I have this nice slicer. And I can do filtering like this using this slicer. This is Northeast, this is Southeast. Now I can see multiple fields I have selected. Still, I can see this is pivot report is for Northeast and Southeast region. And among this, only this many salesperson are working. These are not working, right? So all the details are visible by using slicer. So I would say to filter the data, don't use this filter option. You can use the slicer, and it is a better way to graphically present the data. And let me click this. So everything is done. Let me keep this slicer here. Let me insert the chart. I select the pivot table, Alt F1, and my chart is created. Somewhere I put 3000 value. So my chart is looking weird. Let me change it. Somewhere I put 3000 and let me put it randomly 16. I don't know which exact value was there. And let me update my pivot table. See now what will happen. When I will update the click refresh all, what it will do, it will refresh the pivot cache and it will update the chart also automatically, because chart is also created using the same pivot cache. Okay, so let me click refresh or refresh all. See here, my chart is also updated, my pivot table is also updated. Nice. And now I can use this slicer also on it. Okay, let's say I want only Northeast region, my chart and pivot table updated. Let's say I want only Southeast, both are updating. Let's say I require only for the Bhat Chandni, and it is updated only for Bhat Chandni. So there is it is a nice combination. Like there is a pizza, garlic blade, and maybe Coke or anything. So you can use slicer, chart, and pivot table as a nice visualization tool. Okay, people can see or understand the data more clearly. And slicer can work as a interactive tool. You can present the data, and at the same time you can see that you can interact with your pivot table and chart. I can click Northeast and it is done. I can click Southeast and it is done. Okay, so there is a nice way to present your charts and things. Fine. Next thing is, you may say, sir, what will happen if I have a multiple pivot table? So let me do that. Let me delete this. Let me delete this slicer. How to delete slicer? Just select and delete. This is my one pivot table. and here I am putting only salesperson wise total amount. Let's say I'm copying this and I'm creating another pivot table. Here, let's say I put it by product wise total number sold. Okay, so these are two pivot table. Let me copy this and let me create a third one. Maybe salesperson wise total, not salesperson wise, reason wise or customer wise. This customer wise pivot table. So I have created three pivot table. Okay, now let me insert a chart also for it. Alt F1. So nice chart I have inserted. Let me clean up certain things so you can see the charts are good. This filter option will come. I can remove it by right clicking remove field. Oh, sorry, Control Z. I just need to select this, right click and hide field, not remove field, hide field. So I hidden that. Okay, let me give, let me remove this also. Let me add a data table, data labels, nice data labels. Total, I don't want it. Okay, I don't require this. So nice things I have created and the chart is ready. My chart is ready. Okay, and let me give some nice format to it, design to it, nice one just to save time. Okay, it looks better. So this is my one chart. From here I am creating another chart. Alt F1. No need to spend all the time I wasted on this chart. Okay, you can just copy this, Control C and select the chart, Control V. All the formatting will appear here the same way. I can again click this. Okay, Alt F1. I need to create a nice chart. And let's say I want to apply the same formatting. Control C, select another chart, Control V. It will save a lot of time. Okay, some few charts are there. Let me make it a little bit small, larger, the way I require. Okay, why I'm putting it small, so I can see it simultaneously, few things. Okay, and let me put this also somewhere here. Now let's say I'm preparing you to create a dashboard. I have a pivot table, I have a chart, and I can copy and paste this chart in any other sheet also. Okay, let's say I'm creating a new worksheet. Maybe let's say this is my dashboard, and I can copy and paste all these charts here. This one, this one, this one, Control C, and let me paste it in a new sheet. Which one is that? Sheet 2, paste. Now all my charts are available here. You can redesign, you can put it properly the way you like. It's up to you. Okay. Now let me insert the slicer also. Okay. Let's say I insert one slicer. I go to Analyze tab, insert slicer. I want to filter by year wise. And let's say I want to filter by reason wise. Okay. So two slicer I created. One problem I will see here. This is a nice slicer. I have a slicer tool. I can give it a nice color. That is absolutely fine. Okay, I'm not seeing this date year like this. I can see this way. Now, why this is happening? It is happening because I have not grouped it by year or quarter. See, in my pivot table, my month field or the date column is not grouped appropriately. Okay, so slicer will not behave it. But let's take this problem aside. I will solve this later on. First problem is when I click on northeast, you will see that only one chart is updating. If I click northwest, only one chart is updating. One pivot table and one chart from where it is created. Okay, so slicer is responding to only one pivot table and one chart. Is there any way I can make the slicer responsive or interactive for all the charts that I have prepared? See, again, I'm showing you the problem. The problem here is if I click northeast, only one chart is updating. There is no effect on this other things. It is 801, 8001. Let me click again southeast. It is not updating automatically. Only one pivot table and chart is updating. So to use the single slicer for multiple chart and pivot table, what you need to do, you need to right click. There is a nice option, report connections. When you click that, right click and report connections, you will see the total number of pivot tables and worksheet, right? And let's say I have pivot table 1, let me click pivot table 3, 4. So all the pivot tables I have created a connection. Once I click OK, now see the beauty. When I click once, everything is changing. Say it become 2807 instead of 8001. Let me click northwest, it is updating. Let me click southwest, everything is updating. Okay, so I can copy and paste this slicer in my dashboard file. So it becomes my dashboard. Let's say I want to analyze this thing based on northeast data. I'm analyzing it. Let's say I want to make it with southeast data. I'm analyzing, let's say like this. Okay. Now next problem is my month field is group, I guess by 90 days or something like this. So whichever way, let's say you want your things to analyze by year or quarter, in your pivot table, though you don't require years and quarter as a in your report, but for slicer you require it. So once time you need to put date column and group it as per your requirement. So let me put month here in a salesperson. It is overlapping another pivot table. That is what the error it is throwing at this moment. So let me put it a little bit here. Yes, it is behind the chart. Why I put it here, when it try to expand it, no other pivot table comes in between. Okay, that is the only reason. So let me put the month here and it is automatically expanding. Now see here, my month or date field is group. Right now it is group by days. That is why year and there are not visible in slicer. So let me make it group by month, year and quarter. Click OK. I don't need this in my pivot table. Okay, so I will remove later on, but grouping will remain as it is, right? Grouping will remain as it is. What is the benefit of it? Now I can insert a nice slicer for year and maybe quarter. Okay, so nice slicer I have inserted. This is appearing only when you will do group. I can give some nice color coding to it, maybe dark color. Let me put, and this also maybe some nice color, and I can copy and paste. I can still, it will work only I guess for one chart, not every chart. So you need to apply the report connection to all multiple pivot table. Let me right click, report connection, and now you can use it on your dashboard worksheet.